Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Liam Kilby and I'm the Associate Director for the MBA Recruitment and Admissions team here at Saïd Business School, University of Oxford. Thank you for joining us for this special session, Oxford MBA Explore the Programme. Before we begin, a quick note. The Q&A function is now live and we encourage you to start submitting your questions. Keep them broad if you can. Members of our team will be responding throughout and will also answer some questions live at the end of the session. Over the next 30 to 40 minutes, we'll take you through key aspects of the Oxford MBA, from the structure of the programme and academic experience to the global opportunities, community life, and what it really means to be part of Oxford. We hope you find this session informative and that by the end, you not only understand more about the programme, but start to see why you belong at Oxford Saïd.
Before we dive into the program, we wanted to give you a quick look inside the school, the place where your Oxford MBA experience will take shape. Saïd Business School is a modern, purpose-built space conveniently located right next to Oxford's main rail station. Whether you're in a lecture theatre, grabbing coffee, or diving into research in the Sainsbury Library, you'll have everything you need here to get a world-class business education. This will be your home from Monday to Friday during your MBA year, so let's take a quick look around. While Saïd Business School may be a contemporary setting, it's embedded in a university with over 800 years of academic excellence, a powerful blend of the new and the historic. When you join the Oxford MBA, you don't just become a student at Saïd Business School. You become part of the wider University of Oxford, one of the world's most historic and prestigious institutions. Oxford is a vibrant university city. You'll walk its ancient streets, not just to attend lectures, but to experience some of the most memorable moments of your MBA year. Black tie balls, formal dinners, thought-provoking debates, guest lectures from world leaders, and ultimately your graduation. As part of your Oxford journey, you'll also be admitted into one of the university's colleges, a unique and defining part of student life here. Your college becomes your social and interdisciplinary home, where you can join clubs and societies, build friendships outside of the MBA, and feel part of a close-knit community. It's a place where you follow in the footsteps of Nobel Prize winners, world leaders, and global change makers. At the Oxford MBA, we're looking for the intellectually curious, those who are ready to make the most of this academic playground. The Oxford MBA is a one-year full-time program, beginning in September and finishing the following September. Before you even arrive in Oxford, you'll get access to our pre-program online platform. It's self-paced and designed to prepare you for your studies, helping you build confidence in core areas like finance, accounting, and data analysis. Once in Oxford, your year is divided into 4 terms. We use traditional Oxford names: Michaelmas, Hilary, Trinity, and the long vacation. In Michaelmas and Hilary, you'll focus on your core curriculum, the essential building blocks of business. These are mandatory courses that include subjects like technology and operations management, accounting, and marketing. From Hilary term onwards, you'll begin choosing your electives, and this is where your Oxford MBA becomes truly flexible. Around 60% of the curriculum is elective-based, giving you the freedom to shape your year based on your interests and career goals. We offer a wide portfolio of electives across themes like finance, entrepreneurship, strategy, social impact, and more, including 2 immersive international electives, giving you the chance to explore business in a global context. This is a program designed not only to give you a rigorous foundation in business, but to let you tailor your learning experience, so you walk away with the skills, insights, and confidence to lead in the areas that matter most to you. At Oxford, the MBA experience is about more than what happens in class. It's shaped by what you do outside of it. You might attend a keynote at the Oxford Union, join a thought-provoking speaker event, or get involved with any number of student clubs and societies. Many students take leadership roles through the Student Council or engage with community-driven groups like the Africa Alliance and the Women's Leadership Alliance. where you'll find shared purpose, action, and lasting connection. There's also the chance to represent Oxford at the MBATs, take part in world forums, or help run one of our many student-led conferences and competitions. And when it's time to celebrate, there's the iconic MBA Ball, a highlight of the year that brings everyone together in classic Oxford style. Through it all, you'll build relationships, gain confidence, and find your own rhythm in one of the most vibrant academic communities in the world.
Some of the most transformative learning happens outside the lecture theatre. As an Oxford MBA student, you'll have access to a wide range of co-curriculum programmes designed to give you hands-on practical experience and help you explore potential career paths. You can sharpen your technical skills in the finance lab, prepare for case interviews and client work in the consultant development programme, or tackle real-world challenges through the Impact Lab and the Skull Centre. Entrepreneurial minded? At Oxford Said, the Entrepreneurship Centre offers resources, funding and workshops to support your journey. Whether you're innovating with an organisation or launching a new venture, throughout the year, our Careers Development Centre also runs a talent development programme, a structured series of workshops, coaching sessions and a leadership activity to help you grow professionally and personally, no matter what your starting point is. You will also have the opportunity to apply for these curriculums, learning programs alongside your core MBA. It's all designed to complement your academic journey and to assure you graduate ready to lead, launch and make meaningful change. When it comes to your career sport, you'll be guided by a team of fully trained career coaches, specialists who work alongside your academic journey to help you build your professional path. Our careers development team is structured around industry experts, which are dedicated advisors focused on technology, consulting, finance and global industries. You'll have tailored support, relevant insight and a guidance that aligns with your goals. Support begins early. You'll gain access to the Careers Development Centre, tools and platforms 12 weeks before you even arrive in Oxford. You can begin exploring sectors, refining your CV and settling your career goals before term even begins. And once you've graduated, that support doesn't end. You'll have a lifetime access to career coaching, online resources and employee connections as an Oxford MBA alum. Throughout the year, our team will support you across 4 key areas. Career decision making, helping you reflect on your goals and choose your next steps. Career toolkits, from crafting your CV to preparing for interview and perfecting your pitch. Industry knowledge, understanding who hires, when they hire, and what trends are shaping the sector. Interacting with employers, connecting with recruiters, alums, and companies to grow your network. It's a comprehensive, personalised, and lifelong career service designed to empower you from the moment you apply through your MBA year and far beyond. Of course, your career journey at Oxford isn't something you'll take alone. When you join the Oxford MBA, you'll be part of a truly global and diverse classroom, surrounded by an incredible group of peers who reflect on the complexity of the world you're preparing to lead in. Our class of 2025 includes 348 students from 59 different nationalities, with an incredible 97% coming from outside the UK. This diversity goes beyond geographical. Students bring an average of 6 years professional experience spanning 24 different sectors, from consulting and finance to healthcare, energy, tech, and social impact. We're also proud to have 48% female students in the 2025 cohort, supporting our ongoing commitment to gender balance in leadership. So whether you're learning in a lecture, debating a case study, or launching a project, you'll be surrounded by people who challenge your thinking, broaden your perspective, and enrich your experience. We take a holistic approach to admissions. We look at 3 key areas of your profile: your academic profile, your professional profile, and your personal profile. Let's take a closer look at what this means. Academic profile: undergraduate degree plus your transcripts. A recognised undergraduate degree 2-1 or higher. If your transcripts aren't in English, you'll need an official translation. GMAT or GRE score. While there's no minimum, competitive applicants often score GMAT 650 or higher, or a GRE 160 verbal or 160 quant. English language proficiency test. This is required if your degree was not taught in English or English is not your first language. Professional profile. Professional experience, which is usually a minimum of 2 years of full-time work. We look for leadership, impact, and international exposure. CV and 2 references. 1 page highlighting your achievements. Your references should speak to your strengths, leadership, and growth. A personal statement. This is where we hear your story, your motivation, goals, and fit for Oxford. Your online assessment, a short timed video completed via Kira Talent. It's a chance for us to see your communication style, thinking, and presence beyond paper. Ultimately, we're not just looking for perfect profiles. We're looking for real people with honest stories. It's okay to share areas of development. What matters is your potential, your reflection, and how you make sense of the journey so far. We're building a class of thoughtful, curious, driven individuals, and we love to hear what you could bring to it.
When you're ready to apply to the Oxford MBA, you'll need to select one of our 5 application stages. Applications open in early August each year, and you can apply in any stage. But given the competitive nature of admissions, we do recommend applying as early as possible. Once you've submitted your application by the deadline, here's what happens next. The admissions committee will begin reviewing applications after the stage deadline is passed. You'll then be notified whether or not you've been shortlisted for interview. If selected, you'll be invited to interview either virtually or in person. After all interviews are complete, the committee meets again to decide which candidates will receive offers. Final decisions are emailed by the decision deadline for the stage in which you applied. So it's important to apply with a complete and polished application and to plan your timing carefully. One of the defining features of the Oxford MBA is it's a 1-year format. It's fast, focused, and designed for ambitious people who want to create impact quickly. There are clear benefits. You'll spend less time away from your career, you'll reduce your opportunity cost, you'll save on living expenses, and you'll re-enter the job market faster with new skills, a powerful network, and renewed direction. But we're also honest about what it requires. A 1-year MBA isn't for everyone. It's academically rigorous, fast-paced, and intense from the very start. It asks you to fully commit and to thrive in the challenge. If that sounds like you, if a 1-year format aligns with your goals, energy, and mindset, we'd love to see your application. Oxford also offers a unique 2-year programme known as the Oxford 1+1 MBA. In this format, you'll spend your first year completing a master's degree in a relevant field from one of Oxford's partner departments, such as public policy, education, environmental change, or even international health. In the second year, you'll join the Oxford MBA cohort, bringing with you an interdisciplinary foundation and a richer academic perspective. This option is ideal for candidates looking to shift sectors, deepen their expertise before broadening it with business fundamentals, or simply take more time to explore and transition careers. And despite being a 2-year journey, the 1+1 MBA remains more cost effective than many traditional 2-year MBAs, especially when you factor the opportunity to be awarded the Pershing Square Scholarship, which covers full tuition and provides a substantial living stipend for both years of study. If you're curious about bridging disciplines or want a bit more time to immerse yourself in Oxford before the MBA, the 1+1 could be the right fit. Oxford offers a wide range of scholarships to support exceptional candidates, and many MBA students benefit from this funding each year. We group these scholarships into 3 main categories. Some require no additional application. You'll automatically be considered as part of your MBA or your 1+1 MBA submission. Others require a separate application, which might include essays, an earlier deadline, or a specific profile. And then there are also the University of Oxford postgraduate scholarships, offered across departments and colleges, some of which MBA students may be eligible for. Funding is competitive, so it's really important to start your research early and understand what's required. You can apply to as many scholarships as you like, but we also recommend quality over quantity. Tailor your materials carefully and make sure your application reflects your strengths and values clearly. Remember, you must apply for scholarships at the same time as your MBA application. Once you receive an offer, it's too late to be considered for most awards. Many of our largest scholarships are tied to earlier deadlines, particularly the January deadline, so planning ahead is key. A polished application is a competitive application. Take the time to get it right.
Thank you for taking the time to explore the Oxford MBA with us. We've covered a lot, from the curriculum and career support to what makes the Oxford experience so unique. But now it's your turn. We're going to move into our live Q&A, so please feel free to keep submitting your questions. Some will be answered by our team behind the scenes, and we'll also answer a few live right now. If you think of something later or want to revisit the details, you can scan the QR code to download our brochure or contact us anytime. We hope today's session has helped you see why you belong at Oxford. Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you so much for joining us today and for joining in to watching our Explore the MBA, the Oxford MBA virtual session. So we're now on the Q&A portion of the event. So please feel free to submit your questions in the Q&A chat and we will get to those. And I am joined by my colleague, Sarah Louise, as well. So Sarah Louise is in the background answering some of those questions as well. So, and these questions can be sort of any questions about the program, any questions about the application process. So applications, so as mentioned in the session, applications are open for 2026. And in fact, our January deadline is fast approaching. So we do have stage 4, which falls on the 7th of January. So I do expect that many of you who are dialing in today are potentially aiming for that deadline. So yes, please feel free to use the Q&A and we will get to those questions. Okay, so I can see some questions coming in. So, okay, great. So I have a question regarding the work experience requirement for the application. So how does Oxford assess applicants with 1 to 2 years of work experience and what helps a younger candidate stand out? Okay, thank you for your question. So in terms of the requirements that we have for work experience, we ask for at least 2 years postgraduate work experience. Now, I know it did in the session, it did say we see students come with an average of 5 to 6 years experience, but I would say that the experience can range from anything from 2 years up until I would say sort of 13, 14 years on the upper end. I think it's really important to reflect on for you when it is the right time for you to embark on the MBA. And for some, that might be 2 years experience, and for some, that might be later down the line. So in terms of those who do have less years of experience, as long as you do meet that requirement of 2 years experience, the committee will consider your application. And in terms of when it comes to your professional experience, the committee are going to be looking at career progression, so how it is that you have progressed in your career, and we want to see what impact it is that you have made within your current role. So I'm thinking about your leadership potential. Is there any sort of tangible outcomes that you can provide? And I would also say, in terms of when it comes to work experience as well, I suppose there may be one argument that can be made in terms of thinking about sort of quality versus quantity as well. So even if you are someone who does have less years of experience, it's really for you to really think about how it is that you can draw out the quality of your experience and how that's going to relate to your post-MBA career goals, and why it is the right time now for you to embark on an MBA. I hope that answers that question. Okay, I have another question about the GRE. So how can we prepare effectively for the GRE, and any helpful tips? So yes, good question. So in terms of the requirements, so we do ask for a GMAT or a GRE. And in fact, we don't have a preference to which test it is that you take. So my advice would be is to look into both tests. You may find that one test may play better to your strengths than the other. I've not taken either test, but what I often hear is if you are a poet, then the GRE might be better suited for you. And then if you are a quant, then it might be the GMAT. And in fact, I would recommend, there's a lot of resources online on websites that you can have a look at. Do look to potentially take, let's say, a practice test for each. And then in fact, that might sort of determine which test it is that you may wish to go for. Yes, I certainly recommend in terms of preparing for the test. I'm not sure how everyone feels about standardized tests, and you want to put your best foot forward. You want to submit a strong score that is reflective of you and that does show your capabilities. So do look to prepare for the test. There are a number of different resources, different preps that you can have a look at. Do take those practice sessions. And then, in fact, when it comes to taking that test for the first time, it can be very different from those practice sessions that you have taken, and you are taking it under test conditions. And in fact, we often do see with a number of our applicants that they actually find that maybe they are better equipped to take it a second time. And it's not going to reflect badly on you if you take the GRE or the GMAT more than once. I've certainly seen applicants take it 2, 3, 4 times. So I'm not sure how many times that you would want to sort of go through that, but it's all about putting your best foot forward, and you want to submit a strong score. In terms of guidelines of scores of what we say is competitive, so we don't have minimum scores for the GMAT or the GRE. We do have guidelines of what we say is competitive. So if it is the GRE that you are considering, we look at your verbal and your quantitative scores. So I would say 161, 160 on both verbal and quantitative is considered competitive. And I believe that's also where the class median is for the GRE. And then if it is the GMAT that you are considering, the GMAT has actually changed sort of their scoring. It's a GMAT focus sort of scoring that they use now in terms of how they've renamed that test, sorry. So I would say 605 or above is considered competitive, and 635 is where that class median sits at. So in fact, with that 635, yes, that will show that we have had candidates who have scored, higher scores, but then we have had candidates who have achieved lower scores. And we do look at applications holistically, and I understand that that might sound very cliche, but it is the case. We do look at your entire profile, and you can certainly look to think about how you can balance your profile out. So let's just say if you've taken the GMAT or the GRE a few times, and if your score falls slightly lower than what we say is competitive, but if you are happy with your scores and you feel that you can demonstrate other strengths in your application, then by all means do go ahead and think about how you can strengthen your application in other ways. We do not waive the GMAT or the GRE, so I can see some questions around that. The GMAT or the GRE is mandatory, and you need to have a complete test with your application in order for the admissions committee to be considered. So yes, I hope that answers some questions about the GMAT or the GRE. Okay, so I have a question from Narelle. So thank you for your question. So what is the characteristics that you look for in MBA candidates? is there any specific parts where you find more important than others? Okay, yes, good question. So as mentioned, we do look at applications holistically, and I would say aside from the application requirements, which are we are looking at your academic sort of background, your undergraduate degree, your professional experiences, your GMAT, your GRE. Aside from that, I'd say that we do look at applications holistically. I know I keep repeating that. And in fact, my number one tip when it comes to your application is to be authentic. I would say that we're very good at seeing when that authenticity is not coming through. And we are looking for real people who are curious, who are open-minded, who are going to be collaborative, who are going to share their experiences with their cohort, who are looking to learn from their cohort. As mentioned in the session, our cohort is very diverse, and you can slice that in so many ways in terms of it's a very international cohort. We have different sectors that are provided in terms of thinking about it from a gender lens. So we want to have candidates who are really looking to learn from their peers and also think about what it is that you're going to add value to your cohort, to your classroom. What is it that your peers are going to learn from you? We are looking for that leadership potential. So are you someone who's going to be a future leader? Collaboration is important. If I was to describe the culture at the school within the cohort, I'd say that it is a very collaborative environment. So those are some characteristics, some traits that you could look to explore in your application. But it is your entire profile. And again, not one criteria holds more weight than the other. Okay, so I think there's another question about the GRE. So what is your, and apologies, I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question. What is your consideration in that regard of the GRE test score? So, well, just to confirm again that we do require a GMAT or a GRE, so it is a mandatory requirement for your application. Okay, so there is a question from Seth. What kind of challenges or support should one expect if they are thinking of transitioning a sector or profession altogether? So yes, so in fact, we do see a number of our applicants are actually looking to make that pivot, whether that's within their sector, their function, their geography, or in fact, it might be all three. We do see some candidates who are looking to do what we refer to as the triple jump on the 1 year program. And that's not to say that you can't do that. But again, with it being a 1 year program, it's going to be fast paced, it's going to be intense. So again, just being mindful of the amount of work that's going to be on you. But yes, there is support that is available. So there is a careers provision that's provided to you throughout your entire year of the MBA. And that provision does start early. So in the summer months, so usually around June time, that's when you'll start getting access to the Careers Development Centre. So the careers team are split into different sectors. So we do have a team that focuses on consulting. We have a team that focuses on finance, a team that focuses on tech careers, and then I'd say anything that falls outside of that does sit under global industry. So with the Careers Development Centre, so in June, they'll start encouraging you to get your CV ready. They do send that out in a CV employer book. Different sectors will have different sort of panel sessions. So in fact, if we take consulting as an example, I know that consulting sort of structured hiring does take place quite early on in the year. So the consulting team will get in touch with you. They'll invite you to panel sessions. And then we do have industry advisors that are available for you to get expert advice from. The Careers Development Centre do help with sort of interview prep, case study prep, CV writing. So there is that provision that's provided to you. It's important to note, though, that the ownership of your career is on you, and it's how you're going to engage with the Careers Development Centre. They do host a number of different sessions, different workshops. We do see recruiters coming onto campus, but it is a case of you having to show up and be engaged and take ownership of your career. So there is going to be that support that's available to you. And in fact, when it comes to sort of in terms of your career goals as well, I'd say it really does start at the time of your application. So there is the post-MBA career plan that you need to complete in your application. And those questions in that career plan, they're designed to be quite reflective, actually. So it should get you thinking in terms of what information it is that you need to provide. Okay, so I can see a question about the dependent visa not being applicable for the MBA, but might be for the 1+1. What do candidates with family members do in the case they are pursuing the MBA? So yes, and very it was very unfortunate to have that news. I believe it was a couple of years ago now that the MBA would no longer be supporting the dependent visa. I would say, in terms of, do have a look at some of the immigration sort of pages that we do have on our website. We do see, in fact, I know that we do have some students here who are with their dependents or with their young families, and how they've been able to make that work. Either it might be through, let's say, their partner sort of visa. If they've been able to, come on a work visa, then my understanding is that dependents have been able to come on that visa. I would recommend looking at the immigration sort of pages just to be sure on that. That is where the most recent sort of up-to-date advice is on that matter. Okay, so another sort of question just about sort of careers. So in terms of the ongoing support and providing help in terms of next career steps, how does it look like in practice during our time in Oxford? Are we allowed to figure out our next steps together with your help? So I think, Alicia, I think that's, yes, so thank you for your question, Alicia. So Alicia, if you're sort of referring to if there's the opportunity to explore whilst you're on the Oxford MBA, I would say yes, to an certain extent, but it's being mindful that it is a one-year program and it is going to be fast-paced and it is going to be intense. And we understand that things may change whilst you're on the program. So, in fact, just going back to that career plan section of the application that you do need to complete, we're not going to hold you to your career goals. We understand that things may change whilst you come onto the program. So yes, whilst there is the opportunity to potentially explore, but I think it's just being mindful again of it being a one-year program. And I would say with a one-year program, you do need to know yourself well. It is going to go by very quickly. At the start of the program, there's a lot going on. You're working on your core courses. There'll be events, activities that are happening sort of within, let's say, your college, and also you're getting to meet so many sort of interesting people. And then as you sort of move through the program, you'll sort of start finding sort of your way, and in terms of your time, you may have sort of more time to potentially explore things, but just being mindful that in terms of that one-year program, it is going to go by very quickly. Okay, so another question from Narul. Thank you for your question. Is there any candidates that have experience in multiple industries during their career pre-MBA? Do you think that would have any effect to the admission consideration? So yes, in fact, we've certainly seen sort of applicants in terms of, so actually when it comes to the professional experience requirement, we don't have a preference to any sort of particular sort of sector or industry. And in fact, just going on to the diversity that we do have on the cohort, we see so many candidates come from professional backgrounds. I think often when you think of an MBA, you think consulting, you think finance. We certainly welcome applicants from those backgrounds, but then we have had applicants from a range of other backgrounds. So to give an example, we've had sporting professionals on the programme. We've had lawyers, we've had people working in media, government, military, healthcare, energy, and so on. And I think if anything, it really shows that the MBA can be part of anyone's path, and it's for you to really demonstrate that in your application. So yes, we have certainly seen candidates who have had maybe multiple sort of industry sort of experience. Maybe they've had sort of a range of experience, and also just going back to sort of the range of experiences that we do see some applicants who do have, let's say, sort of 10, 11, 12 years of experience. And again, when the committee are assessing your work experience, they're going to be looking at sort of the impact, what tangible outcomes are there in terms of that leadership potential, and also how your experiences do relate to your post-MBA career goals. Thank you for your question. Okay, so I can't see any more questions, but happy. So if there are any further questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box and we can look to get them answered. Okay, I can't see any more questions, but if there is, so in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put our contact details on to the chat. So if there is any questions that anyone does have, please feel free to get in touch. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope you found the virtual session informative, and best of luck to those who are aiming for an application in our stage 4 deadline, and for those who are potentially new and considering the programme. wish you the best of luck. Thank you, everyone, and goodbye for now.